So quite an annoying day here. We ended up going 2-2 on the trades today from the algorithm or robot, whatever you want to call it. Um, which is okay. Just happened to, of course, lose the trades that had larger targets and stops. Murphy's law. Let's just go ahead and jump in and take a look at each of the trades, explain what's going on. So this first trade, at this point, looks pretty obvious. We're taking along. We have about a 17.5 point stop, looking for a target up near resistance. Makes sense. Got a long breakout. This is after news from PMI, which did shake the market up quite a bit here. So we hit target on that pretty easily. No drawdown at all on this trade, going in the correct direction, and the market was moving with quite a lot of force in that direction. So let's get the playback speed a bit higher. All right, so that's a nice easy one. Second trade is of the same type. It's a breakout type of trade. So coming off highs of day, moving down with a lot of force. Makes a lot of sense for us to try to get short. Targets filled on that, no problem. Again, the main thesis behind all of my algos is mean reversion, not trend following, because true trends are pretty rare. So at this point, up on the day by quite a bit. So this was a really nice, day that we had so far. $750 or so shy of the maximum account balance that we had this account up to, which was beyond the target, which is really frustrating. 2 weeks ago, had a fantastic day, made $1,250 in a single day from the algos, and the way that works with earn to trade is there's a 30% consistency rule. So that means I need to make effectively triple the whatever my largest day is, or a little bit more than that, which means that my target is actually at $4,115 approximately. So would have passed had those earnings or those gains on my account come more consistently. Unfortunately, have had a string of bad trades since then, and actually missed a couple of trades that would have gotten me past that target threshold. Blessing in disguise, though, that means that, let's say this account had passed and I had paid for the account, the real account with earn to trade. All of the sequence of trades, which is probably going to end up in me having a red week this week, would have happened on a live account, which would have been a lot more difficult to stomach, right? So we'd probably be down about $1,600 on a live account versus the maximum balance that we had on our on this evaluation account here. So we'll go on to trade 3, explain what happened here. So again, selling high for the day, trying to make it back down just kind of towards the low of this range. Not really the ideal setup, just because if we want to call this price action here, between here, and here, a range, we're in an up cycle moving back up. So, the algorithm can't know everything or can't interpret everything exactly. So do get the trade moving in our direction a little bit here, but it ends up going quite close to our stop, coming back to break even, going to our stop, and then I end up talking a little bit on the stream about how difficult it is. Yeah, see right there, we nearly got stopped out, comes back to our break even again, and then finally goes up and stops us out. So a situation like this, it's like, well, maybe we should just take a smaller loss. Maybe we want to move our target to break even because it looks like the trade's going to be a loser. You just affect the odds there. There's no way to know if any individual trade will be a winner or a loser until the target or stop is hit. This is why a phrase like and this is my opinion, and I know some people are able to do this with success. But in my opinion, a phrase like "let your winners run" and "stop your losses early" is kind of nonsense, because no trade is a winner or a loser until your target or stop is hit. So how can you let a winner run? There is just as good of a chance, especially on a market like this in the NASDAQ. Let's say we went short right here. How do we let our winner run? Let's say we have a target down here. How do we let it run? Well, why would you take profit here? The market might go down a lot further. There's no way to know that. So by allowing it to run, you may just be allowing it to run back to your break even or back to your stop. Same goes with your stops. Cutting your loss early might just mean cutting yourself out of a winning trade. There's no way to know. If it hasn't hit your stop, hasn't hit your target, in my opinion, you need to just let it work. In situations like this, where the market comes literally a tick from your target and then reverses, I can definitely understand why you might want to move to break even in that situation, if only for purely psychological reasons. And that's more difficult to stomach if you're trading manually versus letting an algorithm have it work for you. But yeah, we get near our target multiple times here. So many times, in fact, which again tells us our target is approximately in the right place. We have the right idea. Sellers are trying to push it down there. They tried, you could argue, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5 wicks in this area. So we just did our best there. The robot did exactly what it was supposed to do, and then we end up getting stopped out on this trade. So again, definitely a bit of a frustrating one. We're down about 600 on the week here. I think that's gonna make 2 losing weeks in a row, if I'm not mistaken. And that does happen. I've looked at the statistics, and there are losing weeks. There are multiple losing weeks together. And you kind of have to let time work these things out. Your edge will come in and out of flow. I talked a little bit at the end of the stream about how my theory on these algorithms is that running multiple types, so you can see we have a bunch of different types of trade setups running over here. My theory is that when one is doing poorly, another might be doing well. So it might be best to run multiple strategies at the same time. And I'm kind of forward testing that because it's very difficult to back test it. But in forward testing, so far it looks like they're all suffering in the last couple of weeks for whatever reason. The markets have been moving very slow. There's not a lot of volume. And then on days where we do get volume, this Thursday, last Thursday as well, the market just kind of chops around. Breakouts fail. You can see there that last trade, the idea was to get short, moving back down the range, and it just barely failed to make it to our target because breakouts just aren't working. So yeah, it's something to consider. I'm going to let this concept of running multiple algos at the same time that have sort of different trade setups. They're all mean reversion, but the concepts behind them are a little bit different. So I'm going to allow them to work themselves out. Either we pass or fail the earn to trade account. It's not a big deal either way. If we fail, we wait for it to renew, and we'll leave the robot trading on sim until that renewal happens. One of the things I'd like to show on this channel, in contrast to what is out there on a lot of other YouTube channels, is patience and maturity. Although this robot didn't perform well, or this series of robots did not perform well for the last couple of weeks, what would have been much worse than that is getting frustrated if you were trading manually at, for example, the trade coming a tick from your target and then reversing, and instead of making $300, you end up losing $400. Many people, probably most prop traders in that situation, are going to tilt and blow up the account and then reset it. And if you tilt and blow up every single time something frustrating happens, or even 50% of the time something frustrating happens, or even 25%, it's going to take you longer to pass an account because you're going to be restarting over and over and over again, and it's going to end up costing you a lot more money. The idea here is not to create some kind of habit or addiction, but to let your edge play out over time. It takes time. So rather than resetting, if the account, if we do end up losing the account, we're just gonna wait for it to renew, and then we'll start over. It's no big deal. The purpose is to forward test. The purpose is not to make money off of these strategies yet. We need to figure out the bugs. We need to forward test, see how reliable this all is. So anyway, I've ranted for far too long. We have one more day this week. Fridays, historically for my algos, have been the best days. So yeah, we ended up making across all the accounts last week almost $4,000 on Friday. So we'll, and Thursdays have been bad. I said that yesterday in my recap video that Thursdays have been bad. It didn't turn out that bad. Today only down $275, but it was definitely a frustrating day, despite the fact that I didn't do anything stupid, even though it was frustrating. So hopefully tomorrow goes better, and we'll see you guys then.